Hi, I'm John. This is my show, An American Scheme, where I'm proving that Diana Ross is Michael Jackson's actual mother. So today, one of my good Michael Jackson friends, that's one of the best friends of my page, An American Scheme, would be James L., which, if you go to his Reddit page, his name's actually like James Laberman. I know it's on his page there, so it's not like I'm doxing him or exposing some kind of information I'm not supposed to and stuff, right? So, but I just refer to him as James L. and stuff, right? But the people here at this page, this Conspirapop, they kept referring to him as James Lieb, or they would know him as that stuff, right? So just kind of mentioning that, just so when I say James L., that's who I'm talking about, right? So it's that guy told me about this, okay? And so this is what happens is that I don't do research like that. Like the kind of person I am, and I'm so busy and stuff and being older, and that I'm not part of this new modern world of the internet stuff, and it's like that culture. I'm really not part of it and stuff. And it's part of what goes to show that there's no possible way that I would have created a conspiracy, right? I didn't create a conspiracy. I did an investigation which involved a conspiracy, right? And so my story gets wrapped up like I'm some kind of conspiracyologist person, whatever, conspirator, whatever person, shit, right? It's like my page gets wrapped up like that, but it's like, and my story is involved in that stuff, okay, but I'm not. Well, that's the other thing. I kind of am one of those people too, and shit, a little bit, right? But I do stuff on facts. It's like, I don't care if you want to call it conspiracy and stuff. It's like, well, it's facts. I follow facts. If the facts lead to a conspiracy, then that doesn't make me a fucking conspiracy person and shit. I'm not a conspiracy nut. I followed facts that led to a conspiracy and shit, right? That doesn't mean I created, so that's one of the things that's just to show, it's like, clearly, I'm not a conspiracy person. If I was that type of person, when you would go to my page, you would find out that I'm out here trying to get attention. I'm trying to gain publicity in that kind of fashion. But you go to my page, you'll never find another link of some other page. Like, I've never even been in Twitter. Like, I don't even have any friends. I haven't had friends in a long time and shit, right? So it's like, all of this stuff, I don't do I'm not that kind of person. I'm just not that fucking person at all. And when you just look at my page and you see what it is, you clearly can see, oh, that's not who I am. I definitely am not a person who created a story just because of the fun of it or to try and gain attention, because when you look at my page, you will clearly see that I don't do that. I don't do what those people, I don't have other pages. Like I said, I've never even been in Twitter. I've never spoken to somebody in Twitter. I don't have an Instagram or TikToks and whatever the stuff is. I don't have any of those. I have one page, YouTube. The reason I have a YouTube page is because that's where all the videos I needed access to the videos. All the videos of which I need to have access to, of which to prove my story, are in YouTube. So I'm in YouTube, and that's it. And I do my story, and even though my story is so in the depth and I've got all this information and I know that I need to be promoting it more, I'm still not doing that, because the reality of the person I am in my real life is that I take care of my dad's got Alzheimer's and shit. It's like, when I was young and stuff, if you would have told me when I was older I was going to have to be taking care of my dad, and it's like I literally have to wipe his ass. If he takes a shit, I got to clean his ass and shit, right? That he can't bathe himself or whatever, so I have to rub him down. I have to clean him. So it's like I have to get wet towels and wet rags, and I have to wipe my dad down. So it's like I'm literally every day I have to clean my dad's fucking private parts. I'm rubbing his junk and shit with towels and shit, right? So it's like, when you're a kid and stuff, you think about that stuff, and it's like, oh, no way, that's gross, I'd never do that shit, right? It's funny shit. But then you just grow older, and life just hits you, and you have to deal with life for what it is and stuff, and right? And so it's like, okay, well, do I want my dad to be put in some kind of old folks home? It's like, how much are those people going to care about him? How are they going to treat him? What are they going to do to him? So I don't want him to have to go through that experience. So it's like, okay, well, I'm willing to take care of him because I don't really want him to go through that experience, Then it's like, okay, he's dirty. What, am I just going to let him sit there and be dirty all day? No, you got to clean the motherfucker. You got to keep him clean. The only way you keep him healthy is you keep him clean. So it's like just the reality. You get to this point in your life and it's like, dude, every day, I'm fucking cleaning my dad. I'm rubbing his junk and shit, right? If he takes a poop, I'm cleaning his ass and shit, right? That's the kind of fucking shit that's weird. It's like, look, this is just the person I am. And it's one of the hard things that people can't understand, that I'm the person that made this discovery about the Michael Jackson, that I've done this investigation. They can't understand that it's like, dude, this is really just some dude. This is just some random fucking person out there who discovered it and did an investigation, and he's out here doing enough exposing it to the public. But it's like, when you go look at him, he's not really an internet personality type of person. He doesn't even want to be that person. And it's like, and I can't. It's like, if right now, if you told me right now, okay, we're going to give you $20 million to interview Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson and expose your story and stuff, right? Like right now, if you told me that, my first thing is like, well, who's going to take care of my dad? How could I do that? Because I can't leave my dad for that period of time. I can't just leave him. I'm the only one who takes care of him and shit, right? So it's just like, the reality, it's like, I can't even be that. I don't even understand how I would do that. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. And that's a big part of my stuff of how it goes. But it's like, it's one of the things that's like so easily, it's like, dude, just listen to me. I clearly am the person of what I'm saying. I clearly am just a random human being who was a fan of Michael Jackson, who I'm 50 years old now, so I grew up with Michael Jackson. I knew about Diana Ross' story. When I explain the story and I tell you how I made the discovery, how it all happens, it's like, that's how it fucking happened. It's not that people can't understand. It's like, when I say that this is true and I know it's true, they think that I must be some kind of insider, that I must have known about it all the time. I must have been close to the Jacksons and they informed me about their secret, and I've been holding this on, but I'm going to let it out now. I'm going to spill the beans. I'm an insider, giving up the dirt. It's like, it's not like that at all. This is like, I am just a random fucking person. And people are having a hard time. Not only are they having a hard time dealing with the reality of my story's true, they can't deal with the fact that the person who did this is just a normal fucking dude. They're having a hard time dealing with that too. So I've got to prove like all kinds of weird shit. I got to do so much stuff. It's like, it's just freaking tricky and shit, right? So this Conspirapop page, like I said, I don't even know where it's at, actually. It says right here, I'll read what it says. It says, 4 friends, Ben, Becca, Lexi, and Tom, look at weird and wonderful pop culture conspiracy theories found online and discuss the facts, fiction, and fun of them all. Sit back as 2 presenters take the lead in researching, and then it must say more, but I don't know what it says there. Okay, but so, I could tell that one of the people, there's a girl here, which, like I said, I watched this once, so I'm not familiar with their names and stuff at this point right now. But the one girl who spoke, she had a soft voice. It sounded like she, excuse me, it sounded like she had a sore throat, something like that. I could tell by listening to it that person, the person there, that person, she actually, at the end, when they were talking about how much they liked the story, she really, really likes the story, right? I can clearly see that person is done, because I know the story, right? So when I hear them talk of the story, I'm the creator of it. I know as much as anybody possibly could know about the story. So I can clearly see that the people who know more about it and who's researched my story the best. So I can clearly see that the person with the soft voice that sounded like she had a sore throat, she clearly has done more research than the other people. She had a better grasp on the story. That person actually has been doing some investigation in my story and could relate some of my things, some of the points and stuff, some of the facts and stuff, right? So it was interesting to listen to them, and I could listen to their points, but I thought they did a good job. But clearly they don't have all the information. And it's like, well, how would they have all the information? I don't expect them to have all the information, and it's just one of those things. They did a fair job. They didn't attack me, and like, they did a fair job for what information they had, and stuff. And like I said, I don't expect them to know everything and stuff, right? But so James L is the one who showed me this, and so that's the kind of stuff. It's like, I would never even know this even exists. But somebody like James L, he does this kind. He looks for stuff like this. I don't even look for stuff like that. I don't have the time, and I'm not like part of it. What it's funny because when James L says just Google Conspirapop, right? It's so funny because even still at this time, I forget that you can just Google something and you put some code words that are relatable and stuff, and then it'll pop up. I forget that you can even do that. That's like how I'm not part of the internet. I didn't grow up with the internet, and so I forget. I'm like, oh yeah, you can just Google that shit, right? And shit'll pop up on stuff. So it's just funny. All this whole experience of having to do this is just really funny. But so now, to these Conspirapop people, okay, I listened to your whole video, right? And so I'm gonna play one little part here, and then I'm gonna show you some clips and stuff that relate to some of the things of which I heard, some of the issues of what you guys were dealing with and stuff, and not actually knowing the hard dates and having the evidence to back it up like the way of which I can do, right? So this is one of my problems, another problem of what I deal with. see how I'm just explaining stuff? It just takes, I just ramble on, and it's like, next thing you know, I hit an hour and stuff. It's incredibly difficult for me to keep a video under an hour. It's really, really difficult. And so you see I'm speaking fast and stuff, and it's like, I'm out here trying to speak fast, trying to give you an explanation, and then I look, and next thing you know, my video's an hour, and it's like, gee, how do I stop these videos from being an hour long? It's like, I try and keep them under 30 minutes, and for me, it's incredibly difficult for me to do explanation and show the videos and stuff, and keep it under 30 minutes. It's super difficult. It's just, everything about this is hard, right? And as I'm trying to express to people, not only is me doing this story, everything about it's hard, my real life is freaking hard. Everything is, I don't fit into this world. I'm not really part of this shit. And people don't really like me and shit. There's all kinds of reasons people can use to put fucking negative fucking connotations on me and just totally dismiss me. It's so easy to do, right? There's just so much to it. But when you look at the evidence of what I present, it's undeniable. There's no doubt about it. I have proven my story's true. I have the evidence to prove it, and I welcome anybody to challenge me. And it's like, I can't, I'd love to come on your show and do a live with you and let you guys ask me questions and have me explain, but I've never done that yet. I don't know if I could do it with my timing. It'd be difficult, right? I don't know. Things are hard and shit, right? So it's just real life. So this is like goofy, like even when I first looked at this page, I thought, oh, I got to sign up for something here. They're not going to let, I didn't even recognize when I first went here, I didn't recognize that down here, there's a play button, right? Oh, there it is. There, okay? There's a play that says, but the kid is not my son, okay? And it says Michael Jackson's real parents. Okay, so that's what the story's about. And it says play. So at first, when I didn't even recognize that was the play down there. I didn't even think I could, and then I read, oh, there's a play button. Oh, okay, I can hear this. Because I was like, oh, man, I want to listen to this thing, right? I was like, I want to listen to this thing, but I can't listen to it because I got to sign up for the freaking page, and that's the thing that I just don't do. It's like, I'm too busy. I'm not going to go sign up for some new page just to listen to something that I don't even know it's going to be interesting or not. Shit. It's just like all these problems I run into and shit, right? See, it's like, look how long it takes me just to even do an introduction, right? Because I feel like I got to explain everything, and it's freaking tough. Okay, so here, let's listen to a piece of this.
So I really like it. I think I've really enjoyed researching it and just the history of Motown. Love me some disco, funk, soul.
What's the number?
5. Really liked it. I like how it starts, it's at the very start of Motown and how it formed, and it's an integral part, and it involves the key players within it of the president covering it up, the vice president, who's also a singer, who wrote songs for the other singer of Diana Ross, who actually had a marriage with Berry Gordy. So it's all very...
It's got a lot of stars.
Yeah. So
literal Hollywood stars.
Literal stars, and 5 stars out of how much I liked it. In terms of believable, I'm going to say it. I've said it before and I've said it again. The dates don't match.
Okay, so right here, just so you know, and it's fine that they say that stuff, because I don't expect them to have the information of what I've got. Okay, I don't expect them to have my knowledge and have such a good grasp upon this stuff. And it took me years to do this investigation and nail down these dates, because I mean, I'm super picky about the dates. I mean, I really, my investigation, I can't tell you, like, it's paramount, right? Paramount to my investigation has been nailing down the actual dates of this stuff, right? And so that's the difference. I've done the investigation. I've got the dates. I've put so much time in it. So my dates and stuff, it's like, that's why I know I'm right, because my dates are solid. And when I explain it to you and show it to you, it's like this one thing, the guy speaking right there, it's like, I'm just going to show you a couple things. And once I just show you these couple things and you actually hear the dates and you get this first part, once you understand it, I think that right there is almost enough evidence right there on its own that should get you to the point where you're like, holy shit, this is real. This is, oh my God, he has it. Okay, so I'm going to just pound on the dates for you. I'm going to really show you. But right here, he was not sure and stuff. But it's like, well, that's because that's them. They're not me and stuff. And I don't expect you to have the information and have the grasp of this story the way that I do and shit. But I'm going to show it to you.
Look at the little things like dates.
Look at the dates, people. I know we talked about how they changed when they went to Hollywood, of saying this 8-year-old sensation when actually he was 11. But I just think the fact that he was born in 1958, although this conspiracy theory could be that they changed the birth certificate. But if it was 1958 and the company of Motown started in 1959.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to show you there. I'm going to show you that date. So be really clear about what we're talking about right there, because what you're saying about Michael Jackson's birth date to be on August 29th of 1958 to the founding of Tamla, which is, I believe it's January 21st of 1959, because they'll say that that's the founding of Motown, but we know, because they spoke about it too, how Motown changed from Tamla to Motown. But so what it is what you actually want to, the part about that part as far as the company, you just want to see that it was right after Michael was born, that you're talking about just a few months after that the Tamla is officially like done. So that's what I want to show you too about the timeline of how the things are working out, and you see how they're working things out, and how it's like, okay, now Michael's gone, now it's like, okay, now Barry feels like, okay, we're ready to, I can do this with Smokey, let's get it done and shit, right? So I'm going to show you all that.
I just don't see how Smokey having an affair, or not an affair, a child with Diana Ross a year before even they should have actually met.
See, that's what I'm going to show you.
Started to write songs together.
See, he didn't understand that part.
So it's too...
See,
that has actually prompted another...
that part is too, which is fine. He doesn't understand the dates. So as soon as I show him those dates and I show him clearly I nail this part, that should instantly change it to a 5. And once you change that, it's like, dude, now it's like, how can you not believe it?
Question which I think I meant to ask earlier and didn't. Is anywhere in the theory, is it clear what Michael Jackson's like adoptive parents in this instance got from it? That's the other thing I...
Okay, so that's, I'm gonna show you that too. I forgot, I didn't know that was in this little piece here, but I remember hearing that, and I wanted to show you that there's some integral parts of the things that they had said that I have that. I've pulled that up to prove you this. But see, I'm already getting in this so far.
I don't understand, why would they take on...
Okay, I'm going to explain that too.
Oh.
I've pulled information, I pulled that up too. I'm going to explain that.
When you said adoptive, I was thinking of Smokey and Diana.
I might have used that word wrong, to be fair, it might have been misleading. No, Joe and Catherine.
The people that raised it.
What do they get out of it? Money?
An amazing singer who created it.
No. See, they say an amazing singer. So that's what they're saying, but they wouldn't have known he was a singer. Okay, so I've had these thoughts. Okay, I've clarified all this stuff. I've already done all this. So all the thoughts and the cloudiness that you see in the understanding of the dates, and so that's what I'm trying to tell with these people is like the way that you guys are talking and the cloudiness, but then the understanding and seeing all this stuff. Okay, I've done all this stuff. I've done it. And you're thinking, the way you think is, that's why I like you to be thinking that way, because that's the way I was thinking. And I was asking those hard questions, and I was trying to get clarification about how everything worked out, right? And so, like I said, I've got the evidence. I'm going to show you here in just a minute. Like I said, this is stuff, my videos, and I go as fast as I can, and it's like, I just don't, it's like, it's crazy. Next thing you know, it's an hour and shit.
After them well into...
They didn't know that when he was a baby.
No.
Right, see, they're trying to figure it out.
He's a hard bastard. He was going to get some blood out of that.
Yeah.
Baby.
That's
Maybe
part
they
of
have
it. That
written
is part of it.
Anyway.
Viral.
Virability, sure, let's go with that term. 0.5, didn't know about it. It's only surfaced on a video on YouTube and a post on Reddit. And
okay, so, and then because of the post on Reddit, there was actually articles, like, my story has been in Rolling Stone magazine, but you guys are from the UK, so you should know that the story was published in the Daily Mirror in the UK. I would think that you guys are aware of that, but maybe you're not aware of that. But because of that the Reddit page and stuff, it did spawn articles to be written, and there has been in magazines, and one of them was the Daily Mirror in the UK. Like, if you guys punch in the Daily Mirror, Michael Jackson's real parents are Diana Ross, Smokey Robinson, you'll see that article will come up and stuff. You can Google that shit. But so if you're not aware of that, that did happen and stuff. But what happens is still, the people in the world are having a hard time. So there's the thing with these Conspirapop people, right? It's like right now, they all like the story, and they think it's interesting, right? But you haven't had to deal with the reality part where hey, whoa, okay, this isn't just a conspiracy, this is real, okay? When the level of what you have to deal with as being a human being, like what I'm dealing with, it's like, because I'm on this point where it's like I'm dealing with it, this is real, and not only have I to deal with it, I got to deal with all of Michael Jackson fans not wanting it to be real, because they never saw it. And I explained Michael Jackson's songs, like you guys understand that I'm doing Billie Jean, Beat It, Dirty Diana. I do a lot more of his other songs too, like Childhood. I just recently did Stranger in Moscow. I've done a number of his songs. I'm explaining, Leave Me Alone. I've done a lot of his songs. I'm explaining, as a lot of the songs are actually explained through the telling of my story. You start to explain all these songs, but those are very... detailed explanations of how I explain the songs, and it's like you guys got little pieces of it stuff, but it's like when you guys get to the point of where I'm at and you have this understanding and you understand, so it's like when you get to that point where it's like, oh wait, this is not just some kind of conspiracy, this is not just something that's happened, a joke, and we're having fun with it. When you get to the point where it's like, this is fucking real, and you have to actually accept the fact and actually deal with it, you're dealing with something on a different level, and people are just not mentally capable. It's what I found out. They're not mentally capable. Like the Michael Jackson fans, they're not mentally capable of dealing with this, you know? Then you got like the media. Do you think the media out there is going to want this story exposed when they find out that the person who did this investigation was a 9th grade high school dropout? He's just some fucking loser and shit who's never had jobs in media, right? I don't do anything like that. I've never done any of that stuff, right? When you got all these people that are in the music business, like the most advanced people out there, nobody ever understood what Michael Jackson's songs were actually about. And so when you expose to the people, and then you say, look at what Michael Jackson had to deal with. Michael Jackson was the biggest star. Like Billie Jean is widely considered one of the greatest songs of all time. And everybody's like, Michael Jackson, I love you, but Michael Jackson is sitting back saying, yeah, all that stuff, yeah, sure, but you don't even understand what my song's about. You don't understand what it's about. You guys don't know what art is. You don't understand what I've actually done as an artist. So Michael had to sit back, sitting like there. It's like everybody's saying you're so great, like everybody, and Michael's like, you don't even know what my stuff's about. How can you actually comment and actually say that you appreciate what I've done when you don't even actually understand what I've done? So that's a part of where Michael Jackson had another thing that damaged Michael Jackson. It's another thing that where when he became a big star and stuff, then it's the catch-22. Michael didn't understand that, yeah, he wanted to be a big star because that's what beat it. I don't get too detailed into this stuff, but it's like first part of Beat It is about the Jacksons telling Michael Jackson that the kid now that he thinks he's the son, it was after Michael was told by Diana, right? But then Michael's got to go back and live with the Jacksons when they get their own house, and now he's a Jackson because that's what the line, and that's what I say. When it says, it says, I'm the one, but the kid is not my son. I point out to people, I try and show them the first line of how that starts. It starts off with she says. It says she says. But people take the part where it says the kid is not my son and they think Michael's saying that. And I just say, no, all you got to do is make that little simple change, which the song tells you to do that. And it gives you instructions. It says, take my strong advice, just remember to always think twice. And then the other line of what it says in the song is like, the lie becomes the truth. It says the lie becomes the truth, okay? And that's what that line right there says. So would you just take my strong advice, just remember to always think twice. Just think twice about it. Instead of thinking that Michael's saying the kid's not my son, think twice. Michael's telling you, like he said, he gives you instructions. He explains everything, and he even gives you instructions how to understand the song. This is what's so crazy when you get to the point of where I'm at and shit, right? So the line starts off, when you go back and look at it, it's like, oh, well, it starts off, it says, she says. She says, I am the one, but the kid is not my son. She says that whole line. Right? And so it's like she says, I'm the one. Diana tells Michael, you're the one. You're the love child of me and Smokey Robinson. Your birth spawned all of these other events to happen, which allowed me to have access to get to Motown and have the connection to Berry Gordy, which led to me becoming the leader of the Supremes, which ended with her being in a relationship with Berry Gordy, which spawned her child, Rhonda Ross. Like all of those things, none of them would have happened and shit. Nothing with Smokey Robinson. If Smokey Robinson doesn't get Diana Ross pregnant, then he doesn't, and comes up with the plan to abandon the child, if he doesn't ever do that, then he doesn't write the song which is called Shop Around, which is the first million-selling record for Motown Tamla. That's their major hit was Shop Around. Well, if he doesn't write Shop Around, if he doesn't have that experience, then he never writes Shop Around. So it's like, which could change the whole destiny of Motown Records and shit, right? If Michael is not given to the Jackson family, then there never is any such thing as the Jackson 5. We never hear about them. So it's like, Michael's the one. He's the one. His birth spawned all these events to happen. Okay? She says, I'm the one. This is what Diana tells Michael. Michael, you're the one. You're my child, the love child. Your birth spawned all these events to happen. She says, I'm the one, but the kid is not my son. She tells Michael all of this stuff, but then she tells him, okay, but the reality is you're now officially a Jackson. You are a Jackson now. You're part of the Jackson 5, which is an act signed to Motown, all of that stuff. And she's like, I can't just take you back in as my child. The Jacksons have raised you. You're part of the band. You're going to stay a Jackson. See the line? She says, I am the one, but the kid is not my son. Diana says all of that. That's what she tells Michael. You're the one, She embraces him and she rejects him at the same time. And this is then Michael's got to deal with this stuff, right? It's like she relieved the burden off of her soul and shit, right? She with no understanding of the consequence of the burden of what she just put onto Michael's soul. And the one person was pointing out here how that Diana didn't inform Rhonda Ross Gordy that her real father was Barry Gordy until Rhonda's like 13 years old and shit, right? See, because Diana's dealing with the same thing. She doesn't know when to tell people. She doesn't know what to do anymore. She's all confused. So she's just like, I'm not even going to tell Rhonda that her real dad is Barry Gordy and shit. I'll just tell her that she's a Silverstein and shit, right? So there's just so much. But you can see that constantly the dates and the chain of events constantly line up with my story. Okay, so now let me get into some of the facts. It's like this stuff takes time and shit, right? It just constantly takes time. So I'm going to show you some other stuff, but I wanted to show you because the one girl who really liked my story, I've got this, okay. So the one girl who really, I think it was the girl who really liked my story. The one thing that she didn't like, that she thought was a stretch, was my saying that the movie Double Platinum is very integral. And what I try to get is like, this is Diana Ross's last movie. It was the last movie that she made in her career. It was the last one of which she made. And what I say is that when you go back and you look at Diana Ross, you'll see that she was constantly leaving behind information for which somebody could go and do an investigation back at some time, and they could put all the information together and get the truth, right? And so what I say about that is the reason why she did this Double Platinum movie, because it was like her final thing, her final gesture to leave behind the breadcrumbs for people to put the story back to the truth. And she made the story which completely parallels the real story of what she did. And so I just wanted to show you a couple integral parts from that movie. This is right after it's been exposed in the right when it gets exposed that she's the mother of the Brandy in the movie, because she's turned Brandy into a star. That's the storyline of this, is that Diana Ross was a young mother. She abandoned her child. In the movie, she leaves the child with the father, right? And then she goes off to become a star, to become a celebrity, right? That's what she does, and she becomes a singing star. And then she becomes a big star, and then she goes back and she sees her child. She goes back, she wants to get back into her child's life and stuff, right? And then she finds her child. Her child's got talent. And she turns that kid into a star, right? Then that's when the story breaks in the movie, and then they post like this on the, and see how it's on like the gossip rags. It's on a paper that's not a regular newspaper. This would be more like it's a paper that looks more like a gossip column type of thing, right? But on there it says right there, and her name in the movie is Olivia King, because Michael is the king. Her name in the movie is Olivia King. Subtleties like that, but it's like, I don't know. I think it does have something to do, because also Diana Ross was an executive producer on this movie. She did not write the movie, but she's an executive producer. So when you got Diana Ross being the star, she's the main star, she's a huge star. She's the lead actor in this movie, and she's an executive producer. An executive producer means you financially are part of, you own the movie, which means you get to do whatever the fuck you want. So nobody was going to tell her not to do things, or if she gave opinions and said it needs to be done this way, they were going to listen to her. They were going to do what she wanted, right? And so this photograph, look at what it says there. Once abandoned baby back, right? And then that photograph, that's an actual Diana Ross photograph. That's not a photo that they just created for this movie. That's a stock photo of Diana Ross, right? So I mean, there's just a lot there. There's shit there. And it's in this movie, stuff that is embedded into this movie. And so there's another part here. This is also in the movie, and here, this is like I said, this is from one of my videos, right? So it's like, here, let me just play you this video. This is one of my videos. Let me just play it for you. Okay, then showed a photo of my baby cries, his eyes were like mine. Okay, what does she do in the movie, right? Paralleling the song of Billie Jean, which is the actual experience of what Michael Jackson had to go through. She parallels that same experience. She shows a photo to the kid, to Brandy. She showed a photo. And baby cries, his eyes look like mine. So it's like, and like, when you look at that photo, look at Diana Ross in that photo. I mean, that looks like Michael Jackson. I mean, goddamn, does that look like Michael? And there's more to that photo. Like, I wanted to investigate, but I've tried to look, but I don't, because I looked in the credits to see if they had the name of the child that was in that photo, but I couldn't find it in the credits, so I don't know. But there is a little thing about that photo. They have that photo, that little baby, right? But it's one of those things that's like, I just don't know about this. I don't know if this is something or it's just nothing at all. I've never made this in a video. I've never even said this. Just so you know, I've never said this out loud and shit, right? It's just one of those things when I look at this, I see stuff. But it's like, when I look at that photo, is that a boy or a girl? It's like, okay, she's got like a little pink dress on, right? But when I look at the photo, do I instantly know if that is actually a boy or a girl? If it was that exact same photo, but if the baby was wearing baby blue, wouldn't I think it was a boy? And then when you look at the hands, it's like the left hand has the fist, like Black Power almost and shit, right? But the other right hand has like a hang loose. So it's like, is there some editing going on there? I don't know. It's just weird. But it's like one of these things about that photo that baby could actually be a boy. And I don't even know. We don't even know. But it could be a subtle thing that was done that it could be a boy, and then Diana, it could be like a thing where they had a little boy around, right? And then Diana just said, just put him in a pink little jumper. Everybody will think it's a girl. Nobody will know the difference, right? So, but it could have been one of those subtle little things of where Diana wanted it to be a boy. It could be. I'm just totally like speculating and shit, right? But this is the kind of stuff where I'm saying is like, there's stuff in this movie, and there could be even more stuff that we just don't know about, of these subtleties, of these hints, of where Diana put stuff into this movie that we're not even aware of. And this is one of those things where I look at it, I'm like, is that obviously a girl? No, I don't think so. And like I said, if you had that exact photo and that baby was in a baby blue jumper, it kind of might look like a boy, which would be like with her with the Michael picture and shit, right? So it's like, there's just little stuff like that. But I just wanted to show you that, like I said, this is the stuff that's in this movie, her showing the photo, and that's why I played the song there for you, Billie Jean, so you could see how it lines up. And this is the kind of stuff I said, like, so this is the subtle things. The one person was saying that the double platinum, that they didn't think that was so special and stuff. And it's like, well, no, there's more there. There is stuff there. I actually really like that double platinum. Some of the evidence is like, well, because actually you guys were mentioning one thing and stuff. Some of the evidence of what I've done, I've proven myself wrong about. I misinterpreted things and I misunderstood it, but I've come in and found out that I was wrong and I explained it. But so some of that information still is out there for people to misinterpret it wrong, just like what I did and shit, right? So, but it's part of my whole journey and stuff. I don't want to erase that from the story because it was part of the discovery process to show that I've been doing an investigation, and sometimes I misinterpret things and stuff, right? But it doesn't mean the entirety of my story is wrong when I make a wrong evaluation about something. What it shows you that I am doing a real investigation because I found my mistake and I corrected it and shit, right? So it's part of the stuff. So now let's get into, okay, so now we're going to get into the dates. Like the guy was asking for dates. He was asking for proof. What he needs is the dates and shit, right? So I'm going to let this play. This is another one of my videos, what I've had where I'm doing stuff, but I'm going to let this play. It's going to go for like 4 minutes and shit, or until I get to one part where I'm going to stop it. But what I want you to hear, what's the integral part, because what the person was asking was, if Michael Jackson is born in 1958, why, when the company is created in 1959, he was asking he was saying there's like a problem there, that it didn't make sense to him actually, right? And so this is what I'm trying to say is that, no. And the other part of what they don't understand is they think that Smokey Robinson hooked up with Berry Gordy, and Berry Gordy had already established his record company. No, that's not right. Berry Gordy met Smokey Robinson in August of 1957. They meet at Brunswick Record Studio, of which Berry Gordy is a songwriter for Jackie Wilson. He doesn't have a record company. He's not doing that. He's a songwriter. He has not started to produce artists and create his record company. He hasn't done that. When he starts to do that is after he meets Smokey Robinson. That's where it all happens. That's why Smokey is so integral to the creation of Motown, and with the relationship to Berry Gordy, that's why Berry Gordy was not so willing just to be like, oh, well, I'm going to pass on you. You got this little girl pregnant, that's a problem. I'm going to go ahead and pass on you, and I'm going to go on about my own business then. Okay, good luck with yourself, right? That's why he didn't do that, is because the whole creation and the whole process of how the company started was from the meeting of Smokey Robinson and Berry Gordy together. They were together. This is Smokey explaining that.
I got a chance to go audition for Jackie Wilson's managers in August. And That was big to me because Jackie Wilson was my #1 singing idol.
Okay, just okay. I'm just talking. Maybe I say it. I'm going to say it actually. And see, I need to not stop this because I explained it in the video. And just so you know, because I had to really point that out, is that it's August of 1957, and this is super well documented. I could show you 100 different versions of them saying it. And if he didn't say it 100% right there, you just need to give me a little benefit of the doubt. Trust me, I could prove it 100 times over. It's August of 1957 of which this occurs. Yeah, so like just see like this stuff here and stuff. There's so much stuff that he said in August, okay, and this is August of 1957, okay, right there. He didn't specify 57, okay, but I know that. So one of the things is like, so when he went and did his audition for Jackie Wilson's manager, now he said Jackie Wilson was his favorite artist. At that time, Berry Gordy is the songwriter for Jackie Wilson. Okay, Berry Gordy actually was a songwriter. He would be hanging around the Brunswick record studio because in his head he's wanting to learn the business, right? That's what he's actually doing. Barry's trying to get his own record company. We know because that's what he did. But he's writing songs and he's learning the business is what he's doing. And then this one day, Smokey Robinson band comes into the Jackie Wilson's, the Brunswick studio, okay? Because he was going to audition because he was a big fan of Jackie Wilson. So that's what got him there, you know? And this is how he meets Berry Gordy. It's all this weird, crazy stuff of how it happened, you know? So, like he says, he was turned down at the thing.
Time, you know, and he was from Detroit. And so we went there, and rather than singing songs that were currently popular by other artists to audition with, we decided we were going to sing these 5 songs that I had written, thinking that if we do this, they're going to say, hey, these kids got their own material, it's a rap, that we love them, you know. Yeah, great. They didn't like us at all. We were 4 guys with a girl in the group. I sang high. And at the time...
Just think too right there. We're 4 guys with the girl in the group. Okay, the girl is Claudette, who ends up being... it was Claudette Rogers at that time, but she ends up becoming Claudette Robinson. She ends up marrying Smokey Robinson. They were married for a long time. Smokey's got his first 2 kids from her, which the kids are named Tamla, which was the first record company. Before Motown was Tamla. So they named their daughter Tamla, then they named their son Barry. So it shows you the significance to that moment in time, and that's even what they named their kids after to remember that moment in time and stuff too. But Claudette's in the band, okay? And he's not even 18 at this time. When he's doing this audition, he's not 18, okay? This is before so this is right, and Claudette's like 15, okay? And they're young, and they're in the band, but he's dating Claudette. It's a big part to understand. It's like, at this time, and so Diana's a little younger. Diana's like 14, okay? So at this time, Smokey's already getting into the business. He's signed. He's gonna meet Berry Gordy here, you know? He's on his way. Claudette's in his band, which he ends up marrying her just like a year later, okay? It's a big part of when you really got to understand the dates and the timing and how old these people are and what's occurring right at this situation in the real world.
Platters were the #1 group in the world, and they had Zola Taylor singing with them, who was a girl, and Tony, who was the lead singer, had a high voice, you know. So they told us, they said, you guys will never make it because, you know, we already got the Platters. So we don't need another group like that, so you will never make it. They told me and Claudette, who is was my first wife, we weren't married at the time, we were teenagers, you know.
Yeah. See, we weren't married at the time, we were teenagers, you know, but they did get married right after that, you know, it was like 1 year. She was still a teenager, you know, Smokey was like, maybe he was 19 and maybe she was 17, but she wasn't 18 for sure when they got married. I know for sure she was not 18.
Her and me, that we should go and just sing with each other like Mickey and Sylvia, because they had a Love is Strange, a big, huge record, and they said, you want to be different, you know, you guys should just, so we rejected. And Berry Gordy was writing all of the hit songs for Jackie Wilson at that time. He just happened to be at that audition. I always tell people it was a God day, because he didn't have to be there that day.
Okay, so It was a God day. And that's what I say. So, see, that's how when Smokey Robinson now goes back and looks upon that event and how he looks upon it, he says that's a God day because he wants to, what he's saying is that was a day of which God had his hands on the steering wheel, right? Where God was controlling everything because of what the events that spawned because of that meeting of Smokey Robinson and Berry Gordy. And like I said, the guy was not sure about the dates and stuff. And that's why I want to pin down this to show you because it shows you so much. It shows you that Claudette's in the band already, right? It shows you it's August of 1957. It shows you that Berry Gordy has not built his record company. Berry Gordy's in Brunswick Records, where he's a songwriter for Jackie Wilson. This is the beginning of the whole thing. Berry Gordy is not Berry Gordy. There is no Motown. We're not there. This is the first step. The first step into the true creation of Motown. Because when you want to talk about the creation of Berry Gordy, that's a different story. Would there be a creation of Motown without this day? This is this God day of how it's referred to through Smokey Robinson. It's specifically that day. And what I want to overemphasize, this is August 1957. Michael Jackson is born in August of 1958. So what you're talking about is a few months after this event. A few months after this event happened, Michael Jackson was conceived. Okay, these are the facts of the case, Your Honor, and shit, right? Like I said, well, I want to talk about nailing down dates and shit, right? And so now I'm going to nail down another date to show you what happened. This is the other one that's super big. And now, what I want you to really understand here is when Diana mentions that, she says, when I heard that Smokey had a song on Smokey made a record and it can actually be on the radio, and I realized that, she said, I realized you can actually make a song, it can be on the record. The song of what she's talking about is the first song that was recorded by Smokey Robinson is a song called Got a Job. So if you want to check a date, go ahead and search the song Got a Job. Look at the release date, and you'll see that it's going to be in early 1958. Okay? So that's what I'm saying is that what happened there is that Diana Ross saw Smokey Robinson hook up with Berry Gordy. Okay? Diana Ross is in love with Smokey Robinson is what I'm going to show you here in this video, and I'm going to nail down the dates, where this nails down the dates and it shows you everything. And it's one of these things too, is like, why is Diana Ross even talking about this? Because she's talking about being in love with Smokey Robinson and sleeping in his house when she's like late 13. She's not even 14 years old. Why is she talking about this and stuff when she knows that Smokey married Claudette and Claudette's in the band The Miracles? The first female artist signed to Motown is Claudette. She's a big part. She's the first female artist signed to Motown. She's in The Miracles. She's married to Smokey Robinson. They have children, but for some reason Diana Ross don't care about any of that stuff. She's going to come out and proclaim, I was in love with Smokey Robinson when I was only 13 years old and I was sleeping in his house. What's she talking about? Why is she even bringing this up except that she's trying to convey the message to the people? She's nailing down the dates. She's nailing down the dates and the events that occurred at the time of how she got pregnant by Smokey. That's what she's actually doing. Listen to this.
But who was your first love, though? Yeah, who was that?
You mean,
that
are you
first guy
talking about
kissed
man?
on
Are you talking about man love?
Oh, yeah, I should have specified that. I'm sorry.
Smokey Robinson was my first love. I really loved him.
Okay, just really before she starts, just so you know, okay, so Smokey was my first love. I really, really loved him. Okay, but she can't be Smokey's girlfriend because Smokey's hooked up with Claudette. She can't be in Smokey's band because Claudette's in Smokey's band. She can't do so. Where's her position now? What's her relationship to? How does she fall in love with Smokey? Like, what's this relation? How's this? What's she even talking about? Why would she ever even bring this up? This should not be when she's talking about her first love. She shouldn't be talking about this, except that there's something actually happened there that actually spawned all these events, and that's why she's talking about it.
You know, I have stories. People think my life or my career started with Motown, but really it started with Smokey. Smokey lived on Belmont. We lived on the same street. Mm-hmm. I was very close with his cousin, Sharon Burston. Mm-hmm. And I used to sleep over. You know how kids have sleepovers at Sharon's house. And I used to listen to the Miracles sing in the basement. And that was before I came to Motown. That was before the Supremes.
Okay, yeah. So just so you mentioned, she says cousin, but it's actually his niece. Just to clarify that. It's actually his niece. It's not his cousin. And okay, let me go and play a little more here.
And to me, I loved him because there was a time where when I first heard his record on the radio and I realized that you might be able to sing and make a record, I mean, it was like major time. So I think maybe first love of maybe with Smokey.
See, I heard him sing. I heard his song on the radio, and I realized that you can actually make a song get be on the radio. That's the song "Got a Job." Okay, this is before Motown. Just like how she said, it was before Motown. And when she gets into the primettes and stuff, that's when she's 15, which is right after she gives birth to Michael. It's right after she gives birth to Michael and abandons her baby. Then what does she do? Next thing you know, she's in a group. And then she's on a direct collision course. She's heading right to Motown. When you look at stuff, there's so much about it, stuff that the connections. There's just more and more. When I show you, it's just more and more and more. But I've done all this stuff. I've got piles of information, killer videos, stuff like this. That's just stuff that's just like, whoa. That's just like, I got so much of it. That's why when I come out and I say, look, I know my story's right. Because you guys have not seen the stuff I've seen, and you haven't been able to gather all this information and have it lead up to the whole development of who Michael Jackson actually is, and then have it go to the process of where I'm explaining his songs because I understand who he is, I understand his lineage, I understand his personality, his personality traits, how it developed, and all this stuff. And so I've done like so much. Okay, you people don't have the understanding of what I've got, but I can show you some key hard facts. Right there, it shows you all the stuff of what I'm showing you is that it was August of '57 when Motown actually starts. And where does it start? It starts with Berry Gordy and Smokey Robinson, of which right after that Michael Jackson is conceived just a few months later. What's occurring right at that time in the real world is that Diana Ross is sleeping in Smokey Robinson's house because she's best friends with Smokey Robinson's niece Sharon. Okay, she's sleeping in his house. So just think about it at night. Where would Diana Ross have the opportunity to have any form of relationship with Smokey Robinson? Oh, well, after Claudette goes home at night, you know, she said, I listened to him down in the basement, I listened to him and shit, right? Oh, that's another thing. In that movie, Double Platinum, that's another big part. She says, and the Brandy says, where'd you meet my dad? And she says, oh, he was a musician. I was in a club down in a basement, and that's where I met your dad. In a basement. She uses that word. I was in a club down in the basement. She uses that word. That's another part of that Double Platinum movie, which I said, I'm telling you, there's shit in this Double Platinum movie that's like, you people are not hearing it the same way I'm hearing it. And I'm telling you how it lines up with the real story. It's like there's other stuff that's here and shit, right? Okay, so that's that part. It nails down the dates. She tells you it's before I come to Motown. It's before the Supremes. It's before the Primettes. It's before all that. And she nails down the specific date because she says that when I heard that you make a record and it can actually be on the radio, like I said, that's the actual song Got a Job. If you look at the actual date of, you'll see that that's in 1958, early 58, right after she would have got pregnant and shit. She started messing around with Smokey because she saw Smokey hook up with Barry. But then she allows her child to abandon her child because then she sees that you can make a song and be on the record. Now, she doesn't want to ruin Smokey's career at that point. She's done this, right? But now she's got Smokey hooking up with Barry, but now Barry's saying, hey, I can't produce him. I can't build a company around this kid, right? If he's got a kid from a 14-year-old girl in the neighborhood. That's a scandal of which Berry Gordy, he doesn't know what he's doing. But this is a part of my story too. It's like, my story is, it's not built as a conspiracy. Like when I look at my story, I'm not looking at it like these people all know what they're doing and they've got all the plans and they're creating this conspiracy. I look at it just as a real life thing of which occurred. It's like, well, how are they going to deal with this? And you can see that the process of how it develops, it's all just, they're trying to figure it out. They don't know exactly what's going on. Like Berry Gordy, he's like 2 years away from massive success of Motown, right? And he can see it, but he hasn't gotten there yet. So do you really think that he's going to take these chances? And just like for an instance, like the Tamla. Tamla is originated from the song called Tammy. There's a movie called Tammy with Debbie Reynolds, right? Which you're talking about like, is white bread as pure and innocent, like white culture in America, that white culture. It's like that Tammy movie with the Debbie Reynolds and shit, right? It's a song called Tammy, Tammy's in love. That's the song and shit. It's a movie called Tammy and shit, right? With Debbie Reynolds. That's where the origin of the Tamla. But when he went to produce the so that's what I'm saying. When Berry Gordy went to make his record company, he was trying to call it Tammy because of the Debbie Reynolds movie and the song. But then somebody else already had Tammy. So then he altered that to Tamla. That's the origins of the name Tamla. Okay, that name Tamla, what it represents is totally fucking different from Motown. Motown is like is real. It's like, it's the culture and shit, right? It's the environment. It's a totally fucking different. But how do you make that transition from Tamla to Motown? Oh, well, he writes the song Shop Around, and that's the song that Smokey Robinson had wrote about. Damn, my battery's going low. I don't even want to make this video. It's going to have a problem with the time. Like I said, the time runs out. Oh man, I'm way fucking, that's crazy. Okay, but so yeah, but that's the origins of the song too. So now let me get through this. My battery's going low. I'm not. It's going to shut off and shit. I wanted to show you really quick. This is the Jacksons movie. Let's get into this.
What about your dreams? Angela? All your dreams.
Oh, okay. Now we're going to California. I know we will.
Okay, Gary, Indiana, 1959. This is what I want to show you too about the dates and stuff.